John Carter stepped off the spaceship, breathing in deeply. The air on planet Aurelia was fresh and cool, very different from Earth's polluted atmosphere. He adjusted his uniform and looked around. Everything was bright and colorful. Trees had leaves in shades of purple and blue, and strange birds flew in the golden sky. It was like nothing John had ever seen before. He walked towards a small building where many beings were coming and going. It seemed like a place to eat and rest. John felt nervous but excited. It was his first time visiting a planet with different intelligent species. Inside, the place was lively. Aliens of all shapes, sizes, and colors chatted and laughed together. John found an empty seat at a small table. As he sat, his eyes were drawn to someone sitting close by. She was easily the most stunning woman he had ever seen, though she wasn't human. Her skin was a soft, glowing blue, and her long hair flowed like silver water. Her large, dark eyes sparkled, and she wore clothes made from fine, shimmering fabrics. John realized he had been staring and quickly looked away. Embarrassed, he ordered a drink from a friendly-looking alien waiter who smiled kindly at John's hesitation. The waiter brought him a sweet, cool drink. John took a sip, feeling refreshed. Suddenly, he noticed a beautiful alien woman was looking at him, and he felt his cheeks turn red. Gathering his courage, John decided to speak. "I'm sorry for staring," he said softly, smiling awkwardly. "You're just very beautiful." To John's surprise, the woman smiled warmly. Her smile was gentle and inviting. "Thank you," she replied softly. "You are human, yes?" John nodded. "Yes, I'm from Earth. My name is John Carter." "It's nice to meet you, John Carter." "My name is Alara," she said, moving gracefully to sit beside him. Her movements were smooth and elegant, and John felt his heart beat faster. They started talking easily, despite their differences. John explained that he was a space explorer, visiting Aurelia for the first time. Alara listened closely, her eyes shining with interest. She told John that she belonged to a race called the Eldari, known for their wisdom and beauty. "I can show you around Aurelia if you'd like," Alara offered. Her voice was gentle, full of kindness. "I would love that," John said eagerly. He felt incredibly lucky that Alara was willing to spend time with him. She was fascinating, and her beauty wasn't just on the surface. Her words and actions showed a deep, genuine care for others. They finished their drinks and stepped outside. Alara led John through the vibrant city streets. Everywhere they walked, colorful flowers bloomed and beautiful buildings rose up in graceful curves. John couldn't stop looking around, amazed by everything. "Our planet is very precious to us," Alara explained softly, noticing John's wonder. "We work hard to keep it safe and beautiful." John nodded thoughtfully. "On Earth, we didn't always take care of our world. We're learning, but there's still a lot of work to do." Alara gave him a gentle smile. "Maybe your visit here will help you share new ideas when you return." As they walked, Alara showed him incredible sights, a crystal-clear river flowing through the city, and huge gardens full of plants John had never seen before. They even visited a tall tower where they could see the entire city from above. John felt a sense of peace and joy being with Alara, experiencing everything together. As the day turned into evening, they found a quiet spot near a beautiful lake. The water was calm, reflecting the golden light of the sunset. John and Alara sat side by side, watching quietly. "It's amazing," John whispered, almost afraid to break the silence. "Everything here is beautiful, especially you." Alara turned to face him, her eyes soft. "You are very kind, John Carter." He laughed lightly. "A little shy again. I'm just being honest. I've never met anyone like you before." Alara looked thoughtful. "It's unusual for humans and Eldari to become friends quickly. Many of my people prefer to keep a distance. But I felt something special about you." John nodded slowly. "I felt it too. Maybe friendship doesn't care about species or planets." She smiled warmly, looking at him closely. I think you're right. For a long moment, they simply sat quietly, enjoying each other's company. The sunset turned the sky into shades of orange, pink, and purple. Alara gently touched John's hand, surprising him. He felt his heart jump, but he didn't pull away. Her touch was soft and comforting. Thank you for today, John finally said softly. I haven't felt this happy in a long time. Neither have I, Alara replied gently. Her eyes meeting his dot, they stayed by the lake until the stars came out, twinkling gently above. John felt a deep sense of peace and happiness. When it was finally time to leave, he felt a bit sad, not wanting the day to end. Can we meet again tomorrow? He asked hopefully. Alara nodded happily. I would like that very much. As John returned to his lodging, he felt excited for the days ahead. Aurelia was a beautiful planet, but meeting Alara had made it special in a way he hadn't expected. He couldn't wait to see her again and continue their adventures together. Back in his room, John lay awake for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened. Alara's beautiful face stayed clearly in his mind. He wondered about the future and what it might bring. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly hopeful. He had come to Aurelia looking for adventure, and instead, he had found something. Far more precious a connection with someone beautiful, inside and out. Asterisk. The next morning, John woke up feeling refreshed and excited. He quickly got dressed, eager to see Alara again. After eating a simple breakfast provided by the lodge, he stepped outside and saw her waiting patiently near a fountain. Her silver hair shimmered gently in the morning sun, and her soft blue skin glowed lightly. Seeing her brought a wide smile to John's face. Good morning, John, Alara greeted him warmly. Did you rest well? Yes, very well, he answered cheerfully. I'm glad to see you again. So am I, she replied softly, her smile growing brighter. Together, they started their day walking through Aurelia's busy markets. John marveled at all. The colorful goods displayed. Vendors sold fruits and vegetables he had never seen before, and artisans showed off beautiful handmade crafts. Alara explained each new sight patiently, and John listened closely, soaking in every detail dot at a stand. Selling delicate jewelry, Alara paused to look closely at a small, shining necklace. It had a tiny crystal pendant that shimmered with many colors. This is lovely, she said, her eyes sparkling. John noticed how much she admired the necklace. Without hesitation, he quietly bought it and presented it to her with a shy smile. For you, he said gently, a small gift. Alara's eyes widened with surprise and delight. Thank you, John, she whispered, deeply touched by his kindness. I'll cherish it. John felt warmth spread through him as Alara carefully put on the necklace, the crystal sparkling beautifully against her blue skin dot. As they continued walking, Alara shared more about the Eldari culture. She explained their traditions, how they valued harmony and peace above everything else. Eldari lived by principles of kindness, learning, and respecting nature. You seem to share these principles, John, Alara said thoughtfully. I see it in how you treat others. John felt proud to hear her say that. I've always believed in treating everyone kindly, he replied honestly. Earth has seen too many conflicts. Maybe that's why exploring peaceful worlds like Aurelia feels so special to me. Alara smiled gently. I'm glad you're here. Perhaps our worlds can learn much from each other. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted when a small group of Eldari approached. One of them, an older Eldari man named Terran, greeted Alara warmly but gave John a cautious look. Alara, Terran spoke seriously, your parents asked me to remind you about our important traditions. Humans are visitors here, and not all Eldari approve of close friendships with outsiders. Alara's smile faded slightly, replaced by seriousness. I understand, Terran, she replied calmly. But John is kind and respectful. He values our ways. Terran nodded slowly, but his eyes remained wary. Just be cautious. he said softly before moving away with his companions. John looked at Alara with concern. I hope I'm not causing trouble. For you, he said WORIEDLY. She shook her head, giving him a reassuring smile. No, John, some Eldari are cautious, but I trust you completely. John felt relieved but still uneasy. He didn't want Alara facing difficulties because of him. Perhaps we can find somewhere quieter, Alara suggested softly. I'd like to show you one of my favorite places. They left the busy streets behind, walking along quiet paths lined with beautiful plants. Soon, they arrived at a hidden garden, filled with soft, colorful flowers. A gentle stream flowed through it, creating a calming sound. They sat by the stream, feeling peaceful again. This place is wonderful, John whispered, looking around in amazement. Alara nodded happily. I come here often when I need peace. John took a deep breath, feeling relaxed. He noticed Alara looking thoughtful. Is something wrong? He asked gently. She hesitated briefly before speaking. I worry about the Eldari who don't understand our friendship. I believe friendship between our worlds could bring great benefit, but many fear change. John understood her feelings. I wish everyone could see how positive connections between different species can be, he said earnestly. Maybe if we set an example, they will come around. Alara smiled softly, looking encouraged. Yes, perhaps you're right. As they sat quietly, the gentle silence allowed them to understand each other better without words. John felt incredibly lucky. Alara was unlike anyone he'd ever known, so compassionate and wise. After a while, Alara stood up and took John's hand gently. Come, there's one more place I want you to see. They walked together through beautiful fields until they reached a high cliff overlooking a valley below. The view was breathtaking, with green and golden fields stretching far away, dotted with small villages and winding rivers. It's incredible, John said, amazed. Alara nodded, smiling. This view reminds me of the beauty and harmony we strive for. It's a special place. I understand why, John replied quietly. Standing here makes everything seem peaceful and clear. Alara's expression softened, and she looked deeply into John's eyes. I'm very happy you came to Aurelia, John. Meeting you has been wonderful. I feel the same way, John admitted sincerely. I can't imagine being anywhere else right now. As the sun slowly set, painting the sky in brilliant colors, John and Alara stayed side by side, enjoying the perfect moment. John knew their friendship was something precious, worth fighting for despite any challenges they might face. Finally, the sky turned dark, filled with glittering stars. They walked slowly back to the city, enjoying each other's presence. When they reached the lodge, John felt reluctant to say goodnight. Thank you again, Alara, he said softly, genuinely grateful. Today was perfect. Alara smiled warmly. Tomorrow will be wonderful too. Rest well, John. John watched her walk away, feeling a mixture of joy and longing. He knew he was becoming deeply attached to her, but it felt right. He entered his room and lay down, replaying every moment of their day together in his mind. Aurelia was beautiful, but being with Alara made everything even more meaningful. He wondered what the future would hold for them, hopeful and excited about the possibilities ahead. John felt certain of one thing: he never wanted to lose the happiness he felt with Alara by his side. The morning came with clear skies and bright sunshine, but John's mind was troubled. As he prepared himself for the day, thoughts about Terran's warning from yesterday lingered. He didn't want to bring trouble to Alara or her people. Still, his desire to spend time with her outweighed his worries. He dressed quickly and stepped outside, finding Alara already waiting. Good morning, Alara greeted him cheerfully. Her face brightened when she saw him, chasing away his concerns for a moment. Morning, Alara, John replied warmly. You look lovely today. She smiled softly, touching the necklace he had given her the day before. Thank you. Shall we explore more of Aurelia? I'd love to, John answered eagerly. They set off towards a distant forest. As they walked, Alara spoke of the different animals and plants native to Aurelia. Each creature and plant played a vital role in maintaining the planet's harmony. Deep inside the forest, they came upon a quiet clearing surrounded by tall trees with silver blue leaves. Suddenly, John heard a rustle from the bush. An animal stepped out cautiously. It resembled a deer but had silvery fur and eyes that glowed gently. "This is an Aloran," Alara whispered softly. "They're peaceful creatures, very rare and special." John watched in amazement as the Aloran approached them, slowly sniffing the air cautiously. It seemed to sense their peaceful intentions. Alara reached out her hand gently, and the animal moved closer. Nuzzling her palm, John held his breath in awe, not wanting to scare the beautiful creature away. After a few minutes, the Aloran quietly turned and disappeared back into the trees. "That was incredible," John whispered, amazed. "Yes," Alara agreed, smiling happily. "They're very sensitive beings, aware of intentions. It trusted us because it felt our kindness." As they continued their journey, John found himself opening up more. To Alara, he shared stories from Earth, describing mountains, oceans, and deserts. Alara listened closely, fascinated by his descriptions. "Your world sounds beautiful, John," she said thoughtfully. "It can be," John replied gently. "But humans haven't always respected nature. We have much to learn from Aurelia." "And we have things we can learn from humans," Alara said warmly. "Like your courage to explore unknown places." Their conversation was interrupted when John received a message on his communication device. It was from Kevin, a fellow crew member. The message was brief and serious. "John, we need to talk immediately." John frowned, concerned. "It's from a crew member," he explained to Alara. "He wants to talk urgently." "You should see what he needs," Alara encouraged gently. "I will wait nearby." John met Kevin at the edge of the city. Kevin appeared worried and irritated. "John," Kevin began sternly, "you need to be careful with these Eldari. Not everyone likes humans here, and you could be putting us all in danger." "Kevin, Alara and her people have been nothing but kind," John replied firmly. "There's no reason for fear." "You're naive," Kevin argued sharply. "We don't understand their politics. Eldari society isn't as simple as it seems." John sighed deeply, frustrated by Kevin's distrust. "I'll be cautious, but Alara is trustworthy." Kevin shook his head but gave up the argument, leaving John feeling tense and uneasy. When John returned to Alara, she noticed his worry immediately. "Is everything okay?" she asked softly. "It's nothing," John replied, trying to reassure her. "Kevin's just overly cautious." Alara watched him closely, sensing his discomfort. "I know trust between our species is still fragile," she said gently. "I hope one day everyone will see that friendship can overcome fear." "Me too," John agreed quietly to ease their tension. Alara suggested visiting the sacred Eldari gardens nearby. The gardens were calm and peaceful, filled with blooming flowers and winding paths. Eldari gathered here for meditation and reflection. Alara showed John how the Eldari meditated, sitting quietly with closed eyes. John tried it, feeling peace slowly return to his heart. After meditating, they walked quietly along the paths, enjoying the serene surroundings. "John," Alara began softly, breaking the silence, "do you think your people will ever fully accept Eldari and other species as friends?" John paused, thinking deeply. "I believe we can," he replied honestly, "but it takes time. Change doesn't happen overnight." "You're right," Alara agreed thoughtfully. "Change is slow, but it's important." Evening approached, and they walked back to the city together. Alara invited John to a gathering of her family. John felt nervous, remembering Terran's warnings, but agreed because it meant so much to Alara. When they arrived, John felt dozens of eyes watching him curiously. Alara's parents, Eldra and Corin, welcomed him kindly but cautiously. Eldra's eyes were gentle yet watchful. Corin, however, openly expressed his concerns. John Carter, Corin spoke clearly. Our daughter trusts you, and we respect that. But human Eldari friendships have often led to misunderstandings. How can we trust your intentions? John understood Corin's concern. He spoke carefully and clearly. I understand your worries, he said earnestly. I promise my intentions are good. I've come to learn and respect Aurelia, not to cause harm. Corin listened thoughtfully, his expression softening slightly. Eldra placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, signaling him to trust their daughter's judgment. I believe you, John, Eldra spoke softly, giving him a reassuring smile. Friendship must begin somewhere. The gathering continued smoothly after that, with Eldari sharing stories and traditional foods. John felt welcome, sensing the initial distrust fading away. Alara stayed close, gently guiding him through unfamiliar customs. As the evening ended, Alara's parents bid John farewell kindly. Corin, now more at ease, gave John a cautious but sincere smile. Eldra warmly invited him back anytime. John and Alara walked slowly back, feeling relieved and happy. Thank you, John, Alara said softly, her eyes sparkling in the moonlight. Tonight meant a lot. I'm glad, John replied gently. Your family is wonderful, and I feel honored they accepted me. They stopped in front of the lodge, hesitant to part ways. Good night, Alara, John said gently. Good night, John, Alara replied softly, her eyes lingering on him warmly. Sleep well. John watched her leave, feeling grateful and hopeful. Despite Kevin's doubts and Corin's initial hesitation, John knew in his heart that Alara and Aurelia were worth any effort. Back in his room, John lay awake for a long time, reflecting on the day's events. He understood the Eldary's caution, yet believed deeply that their growing friendship could prove the value of unity between different species. With hope firmly in his heart, John drifted off to sleep, excited and ready for whatever tomorrow would bring. John awoke to bright sunlight filling his room, his mind instantly recalling yesterday's events. The gathering with Alara's family had gone better than he expected, easing some of his worries. However, he couldn't forget Kevin's warnings. He got up quickly, prepared for whatever the new day would bring. After breakfast, he found Alara waiting for him in the usual spot near the fountain. Today, her eyes looked serious, though her smile remained gentle. Good morning, John, she greeted. Warmly. Morning, Alara, he responded with a curious smile. You seem thoughtful today. Is everything all right? I'm not sure, Alara admitted softly. I received troubling news about something happening near the mountains. Strange things have been seen there. John felt concerned immediately. What kind? Of things? Unusual activity, Alara replied carefully. Some Eldari think outsiders might be causing trouble, but no one is certain yet. Maybe we should check it out, John suggested. It could help clear up any misunderstandings. Alara hesitated, looking uncertain. It might be dangerous. Are you sure? John nodded firmly. We should find out what's really happening. They set off towards the mountains, leaving the city behind. As they traveled, the terrain changed from lush fields to rocky slopes. The path grew narrow, winding through tall cliffs. Soon, they spotted something odd, a small camp hidden among the rocks. Alara signaled John to move quietly. They crept closer and hid behind some large boulders. From their position, they could see a group of Eldari and humans arguing heatedly. John felt his stomach tighten, realizing Kevin was among them. Why are they arguing? John whispered urgently. I'm not sure, Alara replied, clearly troubled. We need to get closer. Carefully, they moved nearer until they could hear clearly. We can't let the Eldari control everything, one human said angrily. Humans deserve a stronger position here. Kevin shook his head in frustration. Starting conflicts will hurt everyone. Quiet, snapped an Eldari sharply. You promised us your cooperation. Don't back out now. Kevin appeared upset. I agreed to dialogue, not causing trouble. John felt betrayed, uncertain what Kevin had done. Suddenly, the argument escalated. becoming tense and aggressive. "We need to stop this," John whispered to Alara. Before she could respond, a guard spotted them. Intruders! Alara and John were quickly surrounded. The Eldari leader stepped forward, glaring suspiciously. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "We mean no harm," Alara replied calmly. "We just wanted to understand what's happening." "Lies," the Eldari leader accused. "You're spies." Kevin stepped forward, looking distressed. "Wait, they're not. Spies. John is trustworthy." The Eldari leader turned sharply. "Your opinion doesn't matter now. You're too uncertain to trust." "Please," John pleaded earnestly. "We want peace, not conflict." "Quiet," the Eldari leader commanded harshly, signaling the guards. "Take them away." John and Alara were taken to a small, guarded cave nearby. Inside, they sat down, feeling trapped and worried. "John," Alara said softly, "I'm so sorry." "It's not your fault," he reassured gently. "But why is Kevin involved in this?" "I don't think Kevin intended harm," Alara suggested. "He seemed unsure. Maybe he's trying to prevent violence." They waited anxiously, hoping for an opportunity to escape. Hours passed slowly. Finally, Kevin appeared, cautiously entering the cave. He looked ashamed and troubled. "I'm sorry, John," Kevin began nervously. "I didn't mean for things to escalate like this." "Then why were you there?" John asked firmly. Kevin sighed deeply. Some humans wanted more influence. Eldari radicals saw this as a chance to stir conflict. "I tried to mediate, but everything went wrong." "We need to stop this," Alara urged softly. "Conflict would destroy our peace," Kevin nodded earnestly. "I agree. That's why I'm here. I'll help you escape. We need to expose this conspiracy." Quietly, Kevin led them to a hidden tunnel at the back of the cave. They moved swiftly, cautious not to alert guards. Soon they reached the open mountainside, the fresh air filling their lungs with relief. "We must get back to the city," Alara urged urgently. "We need help." The journey back was tense and quiet. John couldn't shake off the unease in his heart. Trust was fragile, and he worried deeply about Aurelia's future dot in the city. Alara immediately informed Eldari leaders about the conspiracy. Eldra and Corin listened closely, deeply concerned. "We must act quickly," Corin declared firmly. "This threat must be stopped." Together, they formulated a plan to peacefully confront and expose the radicals. John and Alara felt determined, ready to defend the peace they cherished late at night. The Eldari Council, accompanied by trusted humans, including John and Kevin, traveled back to the mountain camp. They approached openly, signaling peaceful intentions. "We come peacefully," Eldra spoke clearly, stepping forward bravely. "Violence solves nothing." The radicals hesitated, caught off guard. Eldra continued calmly. "Dialogue and understanding bring true solutions. Join us in building harmony." The tense silence stretched until finally one Eldari stepped forward hesitantly. "Perhaps dialogue is possible." Gradually, more radicals voiced agreement. Slowly, hostility faded, replaced by cautious hope. John felt a wave of relief as dawn broke over Aurelia. They returned to the city, exhausted but victorious. Alara gently took John's hand, smiling warmly. "You show courage today," she said softly. John squeezed her hand gently, smiling back. "Together, we made it happen." They stood quietly, watching the sunrise spread soft colors across the sky. Despite challenges ahead, hope filled their hearts. They knew protecting their peace and friendship would always be worth fighting for. The peaceful days returned slowly after the tensions near the mountains. John felt more connected to Aurelia than ever. His bond with Alara had grown stronger through shared challenges, deepening his admiration and affection for her. One morning, Alara asked John to accompany her to a distant village, known for its beauty and rich history. John agreed happily, eager for another peaceful day exploring Aurelia. They traveled on foot, taking their time to enjoy the scenery. The village was charming, with cozy homes made from natural materials and gardens filled with vibrant flowers. Friendly villagers welcomed them warmly, making John feel instantly at home. Alara introduced him to several Eldari friends who shared stories and laughter, making the day pass joyfully. As evening came, the villagers invited John and Alara to a special celebration. Lanterns lit up the streets, creating a magical atmosphere. Music filled the air, and everyone joined in dancing. John and Alara danced together, smiling and laughing happily, forgetting any past troubles. Later, under a clear night sky sparkling with countless stars, John and Alara sat together near a gentle stream at the village's edge. The soft sound of water flowing made the moment peaceful and special. "This place is amazing," John whispered softly, feeling content. "I'm glad you like it," Alara replied gently, smiling at him. "It's one of my favorite places." They sat quietly for a while, enjoying the peaceful night. Eventually, Alara turned to John, her expression thoughtful. "John, do you miss Earth?" she asked quietly. He thought carefully before answering. "Sometimes," he admitted truthfully. "But being here with you makes Aurelia feel like home." Alara's eyes softened, and she gently took his hand. "I feel the same way. You've brought so much joy and understanding into my life." John felt warmth spread through him. He wanted to tell her how much she meant to him, but before he could speak, a sudden noise startled them both. They turned sharply, seeing a villager running towards them, clearly alarmed. "Something terrible has happened," the villager gasped. "Radicals attacked another village nearby. People are hurt, and there's confusion everywhere." John and Alara stood up quickly, their peaceful moment shattered. Without hesitation, they rushed back to the village center, where a group of villagers had gathered, discussing urgently. "We must help them," Alara said decisively. John nodded firmly. "Let's go right away." They set out immediately, accompanied by several brave villagers. The journey was tense and silent, everyone concerned about what they might find. When they reached the attacked village, the sight shocked them deeply. Homes were damaged, and villagers moved around, trying to care for the injured. John and Alara quickly helped, providing aid and comfort where they could. After helping the injured, John and Alara learned the attackers were part of the same radical group from before. Anger and sadness filled John's heart, knowing the conflict wasn't over. "We have to stop them permanently," John told Alara firmly. "We can't allow them to cause more harm." "You're right," Alara agreed, determination clear in her voice. "We must find out who's truly behind these actions." They spent the night helping and comforting the villagers. At dawn, they decided to return to the city and inform the Eldari leaders. The journey back was quiet, each lost in their thoughts. Upon reaching the city, Eldra and Corin listened closely, their faces grave. "We must gather evidence," Corin declared firmly. "We need proof to show everyone who is responsible." John and Alara volunteered immediately to investigate further. They started by carefully questioning villagers and tracking clues. Gradually, they uncovered troubling details, pointing towards powerful figures seeking control through fear and division. "This conspiracy runs deeper than we thought," John told Alara worriedly. "We must be careful." Alara nodded solemnly. "But we can't give up. Too many innocent lives depend on us." Their determination grew stronger as they continued gathering evidence. Days passed, filled with tension and careful investigation. Finally, they found solid proof linking powerful Eldari and human leaders to the radicals. With this crucial evidence, they returned swiftly to the Eldari Council. The council listened gravely, examining the proof carefully. Eldra stood firmly, her voice strong and decisive. "Justice must prevail," she declared clearly. "We will confront these leaders openly and peacefully, showing all Aurelia that unity is our greatest strength." John and Alara felt relieved, knowing their hard work was finally bearing fruit. Preparations for the confrontation began immediately. The day arrived swiftly, with both humans and Eldari gathering to witness the truth. Eldra addressed the gathered crowd, presenting the evidence clearly and calmly. Shock and anger rippled through the audience, but Eldra maintained peace, urging understanding and unity. Together, we can overcome fear and hatred, she spoke clearly, her voice powerful. Unity and peace are our path forward. Slowly, the crowd's anger changed into determination and hope. The guilty leaders were peacefully removed, their plans exposed and stopped. John watched proudly as Alara stepped forward to speak. Today we learn the strength of unity, she spoke gently but powerfully. Let's continue forward together, embracing friendship and harmony. Cheers and applause filled the air. John felt deep relief and joy, knowing peace had returned. Later, as the crowd dispersed, John found Alara standing quietly, watching the sunset. You were incredible today, he told her softly, smiling warmly. So were you, she replied gently, her eyes shining. They stood side by side quietly, enjoying the peaceful moment. John knew clearly in his heart that his place was here, beside Alara, protecting the peace they had fought so hard to achieve. With her by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges the future held. The days following the revelation of the conspiracy were busy but hopeful. John and Alara dedicated themselves to helping rebuild trust and friendship among humans and Eldari. Both communities worked closely together, slowly healing the wounds created by fear and misunderstanding. One afternoon, John and Alara walked together through the city's main square, observing the positive changes. Humans and Eldari interacted freely, sharing stories, laughter, and cooperative efforts. Seeing everyone come together makes all the struggles worth it, John said warmly. Yes, Alara agreed, her voice filled with happiness. It shows how strong we can be when united. They stopped at a small cafe, taking seats near a window overlooking the busy street. As they enjoyed their drinks, a young Eldari child approached shyly, holding a small bouquet of flowers. These are for you, the child said sweetly, offering the flowers to Alara. To say thank you, Alara accepted the bouquet, deeply touched. Thank you, she replied softly. They're beautiful. The child smiled brightly before running back to join friends. John watched Alara's joyful expression, feeling his heart warm. People truly appreciate you, he said softly. And you as well, John, Alara replied gently, smiling at him. Their peaceful moment was interrupted when Kevin approached. He looked serious but calm. John, Alara, Kevin greeted them cautiously. Can I join you? John nodded, signaling Kevin to sit. Of course. Kevin took a seat, looking thoughtful. I wanted to apologize again for everything that happened. It's okay, John reassured him kindly. You helped us in the end. That counts a lot? Kevin smiled weakly. I learned an important lesson. Fear clouds judgment, but friendship clears it. Thank you both for showing me that. Friendship is powerful, Alara agreed gently. We're glad you're here with us now. Kevin nodded gratefully before leaving, visibly relieved. John and Alara exchanged hopeful smiles, knowing their efforts were truly making a difference. As the day ended, Alara invited John to visit her family's home. Eldra and Corin warmly welcomed him, treating him like part of their family. Dinner was filled with laughter, stories, and a sense of deep belonging. John felt incredibly grateful for the kindness and acceptance he'd found here. After dinner, Alara led John to a quiet balcony overlooking the city lights. The soft glow created a magical feeling, and John felt peaceful standing beside her. Your family is wonderful, John told her sincerely. I can't thank you enough for bringing me into your life. You've brought great joy to my life too, Alara replied softly, her eyes meeting his warmly. A comfortable silence settled between them. John felt his heartbeat quicken as he gathered his courage to speak what was deeply in his heart. Alara, he began gently, being here with you has changed everything for me. You've made Aurelia feel like home, and I can't imagine my life without you. Alara's eyes softened, and a tender smile appeared on her lips. I feel the same way, John. You've become incredibly important to me. John gently took her hand, feeling the warmth of her skin against his own. Their connection deepened as they stood quietly together, understanding each other's hearts without the need for words. The days that followed were filled with continued efforts to build lasting harmony between humans and Eldari. John and Alara led projects that encouraged cooperation, understanding, and peace. One morning, Eldra summoned them both to the Eldari Council chambers. Curious, they arrived quickly, finding many important figures already gathered. John Carter, Alara, Eldra began warmly, "Your dedication has greatly benefited our world. The Council recognizes your bravery and commitment to unity." John and Alara listened carefully, honored and surprised. "In recognition of your efforts," Eldra continued, "the Council wishes to grant John honorary citizenship of Aurelia." John felt a rush of gratitude and happiness. "I'm deeply honored," he responded sincerely. "Thank you all very much." The room erupted in applause, celebrating the significant moment. Alara squeezed his hand gently, pride and affection clear in her eyes. After the ceremony, John and Alara walked together, feeling deeply connected. They visited familiar places in the city, enjoying the atmosphere of unity and peace they had worked hard to create. As evening approached, Alara suggested visiting their favorite garden, a quiet sanctuary filled with flowers and gentle streams. The place held special memories, and John happily agreed. They sat together on a bench, surrounded by nature's calming beauty. The setting sun painted the sky in warm colors, creating a peaceful atmosphere. "Everything feels perfect right now," John said softly, looking at Alara. "It does," she replied warmly, her eyes reflecting deep contentment. John felt a powerful certainty grow inside him. Taking a deep breath, he turned to face her fully. "Alara," he spoke gently but firmly, "I never expected to find someone as wonderful as you. You've made me realize what's truly important. I want to share every moment with you." Alara's eyes sparkled with happiness, and a joyful smile lit her face. "John, I want the same. Being with you has brought meaning and joy to my life." They moved closer, their connection deepening with every moment. Surrounded by the quiet beauty of the garden, they shared their dreams for the future. Filled with hope and love. As night fell, they walked hand in hand back to the city, feeling a profound sense of belonging. John knew clearly now that Aurelia was truly his home, and Alara was his heart's true companion. Together, they vowed silently to protect the peace and harmony they'd fought for, knowing their bond had created something stronger than fear or division. With hearts full of love and hope, they embraced the promise of their future, ready to face any challenge side by side.